Hello, friend. Okay, today we are going to work on the skill set of asking for the order. If your aim is to be a professional in network marketing, then asking someone if they are ready to order, get started on their goals, and their progress is part of your job description, and it's expected. It's good, high quality service. So, what we're going to do, I have a few different ideas for you and how you can ask for the order seamlessly because we want to make sure that when we're asking them if they're ready to make this purchase, that it's very collaborative. It's something that they are excited and willing for, not something they feel pushed towards. So I have a few different methods for you and ways to make this seamless and make it very service based. So the first thing we're going to look at is reviewing our system of sharing our products with this person because in this share method that I teach, you can find this on my YouTube channel, the OATS system. In this method, there's some preventative measures that you can take to where sending them a cart and asking if they're ready to order is seamless. So a quick overview is asking, has anyone ever shared Plexus with you yet? When they say yes, it's asking their needs so you know what they're looking for. When they send their needs, it's sending a testimony that relates. And then that naturally leads into sending a cart, which would be asking for the order, right? This system has these preventative measures in sending them that cart, and it looks like this. When you offer, has anyone shared Plexus with you yet? You want to make it clear that you are a brand rep for this company. You're a proud brand rep. That's why you're messaging them. You're not just sharing with friends. You're taking this seriously and getting this out into your network and seeing whose needs you can meet. Letting them know and making it clear that you're a brand rep means it's expected that the goal of this conversation is to help them order these products if it seems like a good fit, right? So right up front, you're making it clear that that's your job here is to help them get that order placed. So that's a preventative measure in asking for the order and having it be natural. Next in here is this testimony piece. So we always want to make sure that we are sending them testimonies that relate to their needs. And when we send that testimony, you're going to say something like, does this sound or look similar to where you are now and where you want to be? If so, I can send over a customized cart. So, quite often, 90% of the time, when I'm having this conversation with someone, they'll say, yes, that sounds like me. That sounds great. Thank you. And I will assume the sale that this is something they want based off that and send them a cart and let them know I'm excited to help them get started. So, this language allows me to have that ask for the order conversation without having to directly say, do you want to order? Right? Which might sound a little intense. So, if you're using this flow, this should come seamlessly. If you have gotten stuck, maybe they said, yeah, that sounds just like me. You have sent over a cart. You also want to include once again in preventative measures of when you order, please let me know because sometimes there's a delay on my end and I have some prep steps you can work on while you wait for it to hit your mailbox. And so I can do a happy dance over here, right? People love that urgency. They love to know that they're making us happy because we're going to work together and we're excited for them. This also helps them look forward to something. So it creates that urgency of excited to place that order. The prep steps could be things like working on their water intake so they can be fully hydrated when their products arrive. You can send them some overview of the products that they're going to be ordering so they can see what they're looking forward to. Simple little steps like that, but it's letting them know, hey, something's going to hit your mailbox or your DMs right away when you place this order and they can look forward to it. So this is also a message I'll send when I send the cart to help create that urgency and move that purchase forward. So those are all these preventative steps you can do. Now, if you get stuck, like I was saying, and you've sent the cart and you've had this communication with them, they've said great, but they didn't order. Maybe it's been a couple days. Usually I wait about 2 days and you haven't seen the order come through. They haven't messaged you again. Here's a few things that you can do to lift that conversation back up, check in on them, and ask for that order in a collaborative way. So you're going to, here's your principles of these messaging. You're going to assume the best. Something like, I'm sure you've been busy. If our days have been anything alike, maybe you've been too busy to get to this. You're going to assume that they want it. They've just, other things have pushed this on the back burner. So you're going to assume the best. You're going to stay in service. So make sure you're communicating to them that you're checking in, if it's been 2 or 3 days, because of their needs they're wanting to get met. So something like, hopefully it's helpful to pop this message back up, or you can relate. I know how hard it is to make space for our needs. So hopefully this is helpful to bring it to the front for you. You're letting them know that this is for their goals, staying in service, right? And then with that, lastly, you're going to keep the emotional connection to their goal. So something like, I can't wait to hear how your issues improve, or I'm blending these three together. I'm sure you've been busy. Hopefully, it's helpful to pop this back up. I can't wait to hear how your issues improve, and I know that that's important to you. Let me know if you want me to send you a fresh cart. It's combining these three pieces of the principles of messaging when asking for the order: assuming the best, staying in service, and keeping the emotional connection, so that this is a service-based messaging. You might, if maybe it's been a couple days, or maybe it's been a week and you're finally checking back in, you want to bring back that reason for their order up for them. So something like, I saw this weight loss story and it reminded me of you. I was checking in, popping this back up, seeing if you've had time to get these products so we can get started together. Something that reminds them why this is something they want. Because friends, we are busy. Women are busy, men are busy. We have so many things going on. It is so easy to put our needs on the back burner, right? So someone reminding us, hey, this is important to you. This is something you're wanting to work on. It is something you have a deep connection to, is really helpful. So you want to connect to their needs in this messaging when you are popping this back up for them, right? And asking if they're ready to order, or if the timing is right. So that's the principle of messaging. If you have to follow up after sending that cart, that you can follow. Now let's talk about if they haven't given you an official yes. So you're like, Amber, I didn't really follow these steps exactly. I've sent them info. They've told me their needs, but they didn't tell me, yes, send me a cart. What can I do? What can I do to get that yes, to ask for that order? A few options here that are that simple messaging is, if I, will you? So that might look like something of, okay, so tell me, where are we at with this? What are you thinking? If I send you a cart, are you feeling excited to order and try this with me? That's a great open way to ask this question. Or you can make it more relational. Hey, I bet you're a little like me. Maybe you're feeling all overwhelmed by the choices. This is if you've sent them options, right? And you've kind of sent them several. Maybe you kind of said a little too much and sent them too much detail. You want to walk it back a little bit to make it simple for them. Hey, maybe you're feeling a little overwhelmed by the choices. If I sent you a cart that was customized to your needs, would you feel comfortable and ready and excited to get started? This is a way to kind of walk back over informing, and giving them an easy yes. I want you to remember that they want you to be the expert. They want you to have the product set, be able to serve them in that way. Sometimes giving too many choices can create that overwhelm, and we don't want that because it stops their progress. So those are two options to gently ask, hey, you want to order, in a collaborative way. And then if they've said yes, let's say they said yes, they wanted to order, you sent them a cart, you followed our simple system of checking back in because they didn't order on that cart. I will usually do this 2 to 3 times, check in if they didn't order on a cart because life is busy and maybe they've just been, too overwhelmed to get to this. So I'll check in 2 or 3 times. But then if it's kind of obvious that they're really not getting back to me, they're opening my messages, they're not responding, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk this back. I am going to take it away, for a lack of a better term, so that we can move on with our relationship. And if this isn't the right time, they feel free to say that. So something like, hey, friend, I'm almost embarrassed to message again because maybe I'm driving you nuts. You want to vocalize how you're feeling. If you're feeling like maybe you're annoying them, say it, vocalize it. This is a human to human conversation, right? And then bring up why you're continuing to message though. But you told me about your desire, or but I really value the fact you told me about your struggles. And now every time I see a testimony, I think of your need. That's why I've been popping this back up again. But question, you could say, but, open question. Are you feeling like you maybe don't have the space for Plexus right now? Let me know if you want to put this on pause. I'm here to be helpful, and I know the timing has to be right. So, let me know. Or if you've just been busy and need a fresh cart, I'm here for you, whatever suits you. I have sent this message quite a few times and have been pleasantly surprised by getting the response of, no, no, you're not annoying me, or I am so grateful. Thank you for popping it back up. I'm sorry I haven't responded. I do want to order. Please send the cart. One of my best customers, this actually happened. They were just had a lot going on in their life and hadn't had a chance to ever get back to me. And so when I kind of asked if I was being overbearing or annoying and then offered to remove the conversation, they were, no, 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 I do want this. Not annoying. Please send it. And so that was helpful. I've also had the situation where someone says, yeah, I'm so sorry. I just don't have the space for this, or I decided to shift my budget elsewhere, but hopefully in a couple months. And that's been really impactful for them that I offered that space. I feel good about it. They feel good about it. There's no awkwardness in the conversation. We can move on to other things and come back to this at another point. So that's really a great option there if you're just not making any headway. Hopefully this is super helpful. I'm going to drop it in the comments, all these different slides so that you can use them. I encourage you to copy and paste these into your notes so that you can use them in conversation. Remember, preventative measures first. If you have that conversation flow, you use the OAT system that you can find on my YouTube channel, the full OAT system. If you use that, then generally they'll say, yeah, send me a cart, and you won't have to ask for the order in any other way. And you can know that this is what they're wanting. And then if you do get stuck, you have those ways to progress the conversation forward. So remember, friend, we are serving needs. That's what we get to do. You have a powerful tool to do it, but we're in their story. We're in their story and on their timeline, and we're helping to lead them up to their next goal. So have fun asking for the order so you can see where people are at. Don't be frightened around it or feel pushy around it. If you're doing it in using these methods, everyone's going to feel great about the conversation on both sides. So, all right, we'll see you next time for our next skill set. Thanks, friend.